Our Father which art in heaven,
Our Father which art in heaven,
hallowed be thy name.
hallowed be thy name.
Thy kingdom come,
Thy kingdom come,
thy will be done in earth
thy will be done on earth
as it is in heaven.
as it is in heaven.
Give us this day our daily bread,
Give us this day our daily bread,
and forgive us our debts,
and forgive us our debts,
as we forgive our debtors.
as we forgive our debtors.
And lead us not into temptation,
And lead us not into temptation,
but deliver us from evil.
but deliver us from evil.
For thine is the kingdom,
For thine is the kingdom,
and the power,
and the power,
and the glory,
and the glory,
forever.
forever.
Praise the Lord.
Praise the
For
Lord.
he is good.
For he is good,
For his mercy endureth forever.
for his mercy endures forever.
Praise the Lord God of Israel.
Praise the Lord God of
For
Israel,
he is good.
for he is good,
For his mercy endureth forever.
for his mercy endures forever.
Lord of lords,
Lord of lords,
King of kings,
King of kings,
the mighty one of Jacob,
the mighty one of Jacob,
and there is no other.
there is no other.
In Jesus' mighty name we pray.
In Jesus' mighty name we pray.
Amen.
Amen.
Today's scripture reading comes from Psalms 137, verses 1 through 9. By the rivers of Babylon, there we sat down. Yea, we wept when we remembered Zion. We hanged our harps upon the willows in the midst thereof. For there they that carried us away captive required of us a song. And they that wasted us required of us mirth, saying, Sing us one of the songs of Zion. How shall we sing the Lord's song in a strange land? If I forget thee, O Jerusalem, let my right hand forget her cunning. If I do not remember thee, let my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth. If I prefer not Jerusalem above my chief joy. Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof. O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed, happy shall be that rewardeth thee as thou hast served us. Happy shall he be that taketh and dash thy little ones against the stones. May the Lord add a blessing to the reading, hearing, and doing of his word. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Praise the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Peace to everybody that's here. In the name of Jesus. Peace to everybody tuning in on the internet. And we're going to get into the lesson. And I started last night. We started the Sabbath. Of course, I flew here this morning. So last night, we had a lesson. I was in Gary, Indiana. And it just show you it's so much to teach out the Bible. You can't even keep up with it. We got a big Bible, and we won't understand all of it until it's all said and done, until the Lord is back and his kingdom is on this earth. And so the lesson last night, totally different from today's lesson, was titled Crooks and Whores Getting In Before Some Church Folk. Some of y'all might have saw it online. But that's the truth. That come out of Jesus' mouth. Right. Jesus said that in Matthew 21. He used some different terminology, but he really said pretty much the same thing. He said publicans and harlots will get into the kingdom of God before some of you. And he was talking to the religious church people of his day, even the leaders. And that's the way the Lord got it, brothers and sisters, because you got a lot of people playing church, not doing God's will. They think they serving God. They think they know God, but they really don't. Then on the other hand, you got people like most of us was just in the world doing all kind of bad stuff, and then found out about the true word of God and repent, because you got to repent. See, Jesus didn't mean somebody that's a crook, somebody that's a whore, or he called harlot, which is the same thing. He didn't mean they're going to get in doing those things. But what he was saying is they hear the word, they repent and do things right, whereas people who call themselves believing in God, they're not doing things right yet. See, and that's who Jesus was always in a battle, an argument with, a debate with. Who? Not the street people. Who was he in a debate with? He was in a debate with church people. They was always questioning him, thought he was wrong. So that's why we dealt with that last night. But today we got a whole nother lesson, because the Lord covered everything down to the end of the world. People think the Lord don't have nothing to do what's going on. They have a tribute teaching to the Lord as if he's just going to take us to heaven. They even talk about a rapture. None of that's biblical.
Right.
But what the Lord is doing, he's controlling the affairs of man. He's told you how the affairs of man is going to go. And that's how I really knew this God of this Bible was the real God, when I understood the way God tell you things that's happening in this world to this day, and they happen. He's called it all. So in the book of Daniel, he told you about 4 world-ruling empires starting around Daniel's time, taking us to the end of the world until the time that the Lord is going to take over this world. Because that's what it's all about, brothers and sisters. He's not taking nobody to heaven. He's taking over the world. And it's crystal clear. But yet you got people in church teaching and believing that lie. And it's real clear. You know, you got people in church, they will sing a nice song made off of the Lord's Prayer. But the Lord's Prayer, if you're singing that song, you should know that his kingdom is coming.
Right.
That his will is going to be done in earth as it is in heaven. It's not about going to heaven. There is no rapture. But if you didn't understand that, the Lord showed you a different way, because he told you the literal world-ruling kingdoms that's going to be here, that will be here up until his kingdom come. And he started in Daniel, he named 4 of them, but of course the most important one of all of them, it started with Babylon, but it ended with Rome, and Rome has to rule until Jesus come back and take this world over. So that's a good question that people should have. That's what it might make you ask, well, I don't understand that. I don't see Rome ruling. Well, that's the problem. You got to have some spiritual eyes to see that Rome is ruling.
That's right.
Because Rome is ruling right now. But most people don't know that. They don't know that all this setup, everything we got in America and all over the world has derived from Rome. They even got a saying. Most people heard it. All roads do what?
Lead to Rome.
Lead to Rome.
Yeah.
And that is the truth. All this stuff comes from Rome. And Rome is still controlling things. Not the way they really want to, though. They're going to get back to business in a little bit. But they still got enough power to influence the whole world in the wrong way. So that's the title. The Beast, Rome. Mystery Babylon, still ruling today. The Beast, Rome. See, and that's what the Lord characterized kingdoms in the Bible many times. He used beasts to describe them. So, and like I said, once you understand something like this, you know this God is the God of the world. He created everything because he told you before it happened. See, I checked out other books. I looked through the Quran, looked at some other books. I ain't seen no other book tell me things in the world that was going to happen before it happened.
Right, right.
But that's what this God has done. So he described kingdoms, he described them as beasts. He used analogies as a beast. And then this one is, since don't nobody know really that Rome is ruling, it is a mystery, brothers and sisters. Only people that's really trying to do God's will and serve God get understanding of this. So that's the title, The Beast, Rome. Mystery Babylon, that's another name for it, because that's where it started. We're going to get to that. But it's still ruling today. Daniel, the 12th chapter is where we're going to start, and we're going to pick it up at verse 4. Daniel 12 and verse 4. Go ahead and read it, my brother.
But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased.
Now understand, that's what's going on right now. What did he tell Daniel? See, this stuff, see, what people don't realize, the Lord showed the prophets everything, even down to the end of the world. But what the prophets, they seeing the visions, they seeing what the Lord is showing he is going to happen, but they didn't understand it. And really the Lord is letting us know, he's going to let us know that it wasn't for them to understand. Because God wasn't showing it for them like it was going to happen while they was living. See, that's but they didn't quite get it. They thought, look, I need to understand this. God's showing it to me. No, God wasn't showing it to Daniel for that reason. God showed it to Daniel so Daniel could write it in a book, have it written down, and the people living at the end could understand it. That's why God showed it to Daniel. See, so it wasn't even for Daniel. Daniel could not understand it. Daniel didn't know nothing about no jet plane, no bombs flying out of jets. He didn't know nothing about that. But the Lord showed him some of the things that's going on in the end of the world. So that's why, now Daniel wanted to know. So it said, he was asking about it, and verse 4 said, but thou, O Daniel, this is what the angel told him, shut up the words and seal the book. How long? Even till the time of the end, he said. So we dealing with something that's going to take place at the time of the end of the world. He said, but don't worry about it, Dad. You shut up the book and you shut up the words and seal the book even to the time of the end. Many going to run to and fro and knowledge shall be increased. And that's the way traffic is, and that's what's going on now. Knowledge being increased in these days to understand these things. That's why we know exactly what's happening. Because this lesson, what we're going to show in this lesson is absolute. Ain't no doubt about it. Because the scripture back it up. Go ahead, verse 5.
Then I, Daniel, looked, and behold, there stood other two, the one on this side of the bank of the river, and the other on the side of the bank of the river. And one said to the man,
now these are angels, but go ahead.
And one said to the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters of the river, how long shall it be to the end of these wonders? And I heard the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters of the river, when he held up his right hand and his left hand unto heaven, and swear by him that liveth forever, that it shall be for a time, times, and half, and when he shall have accomplished to scatter the power of the holy people, all these things shall be finished.
Okay, so now they letting Daniel know, but again, they letting him know so he can write it down for our benefit. He said, how long is it going to be till this thing is all over? Doing this vision that Daniel is seeing about the end. And he gave him a times and a half, which is 3.5 years, which is exactly, you can make a note of that. That's how long Great Tribulation is. 3.5 years, not 7 years like some people try to preach. They don't understand one verse in Daniel 9. But anyway, it's 3.5 years. That's how long once tribulation started. Great Tribulation haven't started yet, but it's going to start after a certain event, which we're going to touch on. We're really not dealing with all of this. We're focusing more so on the kingdom that's going to be ruling before the Lord comes, which is Rome. But still, 3.5 years, that's what a time, which is 1 year, and times, plural, which is 2 years. 1 plus 2 is 3. And a half a time, that's 3.5. Then it says something else. When he shall have accomplished to scatter the power of the holy people. So notice what's going on at the end. The holy people, the people that really know God, going to be getting hurt. And that's going to come up again before we get out the lesson. The holy people going to be getting done in. Because this system is contrary to God. That's what this is all about. That's why God eventually got to come and take over. That's what God going to do. So once he's been scattered the power of the holy people, all these things shall be finished. But go ahead, verse 8.
And I heard, but I understood not.
Now notice Daniel. Daniel said, I'm hearing this stuff. I don't know what is the Lord trying to tell me? I heard, but I understood not. Now this is a shame. And that is that Daniel got the message. He would kill to know what this message is. And what's a shame is, now it's time for us to understand. Nobody even care. We think we can just jump around church and feel good and don't get no knowledge of what the Lord wants us to know. We're not even seeking to know. Daniel wanted to know. It wasn't for him to know. It's for us to know. We don't care to know. That's what's messed up. He said, I heard, but I understood not. Go ahead.
Then said I, O my Lord, what shall be the end of these things?
What's the answer?
And he said, go thy way, Daniel, for the words are closed up and sealed to the time of the end.
See, that's the key. It wasn't for Daniel to know. Daniel didn't get it for his benefit. He got it for our benefit. He said, Daniel, don't even worry about it. Go your way. The words are closed up and sealed to the time of the end. That means wasn't nobody supposed to understand it. until you get to the end. This is another way we know we at the end, because we understand all of it. But go ahead, verse 10.
Many shall be purified.
Now he talking about at the end. Many shall be purified and what?
And made white. And tried.
Go ahead.
But the wicked shall do wickedly.
And
none of the wicked shall understand.
See, none of the wicked gonna understand this. See, it wasn't time for it to be understood in Daniel's time, but it's time to understand it now. But the wicked will not understand this. None of the wicked will understand. See, that gives you a key to get some understanding in the Bible. You got to start changing your ways.
Yes, sir.
See, I didn't quite get that at first. I thought it was just about getting some knowledge. Oh, yeah, I can tell people they don't know what they talk about. Yeah, you can have some fun, try to beat up some people, but you're going to have to change your ways. It comes with a bitter pill. You got to get your act together.
Yes, sir.
So, because the wicked don't understand, but he said what?
But the wise shall understand.
But the wise shall understand. So that means as a whole, this is supposed to be what? A mystery. Everybody not supposed to understand it, even when it's time to learn about it. Now let's go to Mark 4. Keep your finger. We're going to come back in and out of Daniel, just like Revelation. So if you got a marker, you can put it in Daniel. We're going to be back in a little bit to Daniel 7. We're going to go to Mark, the 4th chapter now, though. Mark, the 4th chapter, we're just going to read one verse, verse 11, and show you Jesus said a similar thing to his disciples. Mark, the 4th chapter, and we got one verse to read, verse 11. Mark 4, and we're going to read that one verse. Mark 4 and verse 11. Go ahead and read it, my brother.
And he said unto them, Unto you it is given to know the mystery of the kingdom of God. But unto them that are without, all these things are done in parables.
See, now the question was, we didn't read it. They asked Jesus, was Jesus spoken a lot of parables? They said, well, why are you speaking all those parables? Why are you giving riddles to the people? Because he answered, because it's not for them to get it. If you don't, and it really, the riddles were simple if you adhere to the word of God. But if you don't want to adhere to the word of God, the riddle is going to be something you can't solve. And this is what he said. So he said, but he told his disciples who was asking him why he did it, unto you it is given to know the mystery of the kingdom of God. So it's given to some to know, and we know the key already. What's the key? You got to repent and start doing his will. You got to want to know. You can't think it's just about emotionalism, screaming and shouting. It'd been nice, we like a nice song and some choir singing, but that's not what the whole of serving God is about. So you can't think it's about emotionalism. It's about understanding and doing God's will. Unto you it is given to know the mystery. See, that's what the title is, The Beast Rome. It's a mystery in itself, Mystery Babylon. He said, unto you it is given to know the mystery of the kingdom of God, but unto them, so it's not given to everybody. That's why the average person don't understand that. Unto them that are without, they're not trying to be with God. All these things are done in parables. They cannot figure it out. Now let's get into it. Go to Revelation 17. And we're going to see that this is meant to be a mystery to most people. And we're showing you this because, brothers and sisters, this is why we got a lesson titled, The Beast Rome. Mystery Babylon still ruling today, but yet, don't nobody understand. You can, somebody, average person, how is Rome ruling today? You got to be crazy. America ruling, and Russia ruling, and all these people ruling. They don't see it. You know why? Because it's a mystery to them. It's supposed to be a mystery, but to serve as a God, it's crystal clear. Revelation 17, we're going to read that one verse, and we're going to come back to Revelation repeatedly too. 17, one verse, verse 7. Go ahead and read it.
And the angel said unto me, Wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman, and of the beast that carrieth her, with which hath the 7 heads and 10 horns. Okay, so this is what we're getting to. We just kind of putting it, showing the end from it at the beginning to show you that it's supposed to be a mystery. So even John, now just like Daniel was getting some messages,
John was getting some messages that he really wasn't going to get because it wasn't for his time. So the angel said unto him, because he saw how great this dynasty, because we're talking a kingdom, brother, so we're talking a dynasty. He saw how great it was, and he started to marvel and said, wow, this thing is deep. And the angel said unto him, to me, wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman. Now we got a woman in here, and that's going to be a clue to understanding how Rome is still ruling. This woman right here. Because this beast, which is a kingdom, didn't survive on its own. He said, I will tell thee the mystery, but it's a mystery of the woman and of the beast that carried her. See, the woman come by way of the beast. And I'm going to tell you, the woman just represents the church that come out of Rome. See, that's why Rome is still here, because of that. Really, it's because of religion. Rome is controlling the world right now through limited power by way of religion. See, they don't have the power that the emperors had back in the day, where the emperor told you what to do and he would take your head off if you didn't do it. They don't have that power, but they still got plenty power through controlling your mind. That's what they've been doing. They've been controlling your mind now. And how they've been doing it through religion. That's where the woman come in at. But we're going to get to all of that. But it said, the angel said unto me, wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carried her. So how the woman get on the scene? She come by way of the beast. What is the beast? We're going to see for sure. But I'm telling you, the beast is a kingdom. It's this kingdom we focusing on. That's how the woman got here. Whoever she is, we're going to get to it. The woman got here by way of the beast carrying her. What beast? They have 7 heads and 10 horns. We're going to get to that too. But it's a beast. But we ain't talking about just no dynamic animal out there somewhere with 7 heads and 10 horns, are we? No. You ain't seen no literal beast. What kind of beast is that? The Lord is showing you a dynamic kingdom. That's what he's showing. Now let's get to it. Let's go to Daniel 7. We're going to come back to Revelation eventually. So if you got a marker, you can put it there. You need 2, 3 hands to keep up with us. Daniel the 7th chapter. Daniel 7 and 1. Because Daniel had saw all of this stuff. And we already know it wasn't even for him to get, to understand most of it. Daniel 7 and 1. Go ahead, my brother.
In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and visions of his head upon his bed. Then he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matter. Now this is Belshazzar, the Babylonian king, who came later on after Nebuchadnezzar, who was the first real king of Babylon. And Daniel was a slave in Babylon. He even had a new name, a slave name, like the same thing happened to Israel here. Because nothing is new under the sun. So Belshazzar the king, in the first year of his reign, he started ruling. Daniel had a dream and vision of his head upon his bed. He wrote the dream, told the sum of the matter. What did he say, verse 2? Daniel spake and said, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the 4 winds of the heaven strove upon the great sea. And what happened? And 4 great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another. Okay, so now, pay attention. We're going to understand what these beasts represent real quick. But 4 of them came up. See, we only talking about 1. You know why? Because the most important of the 4 actually is the last one. In other words, the last one going to be around. See, the Lord is showing us the 4 kingdoms that's supposed to rule before his king. And again, once you understand this, it's no way you be walking around telling me, I can't wait to get raptured to heaven. Because you know exactly what the Lord is doing. It's about a kingdom on this earth. And that's what the Lord is showing. So he said, this is what Daniel saw. He saw a vision. He said, 4 great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another. Now we saw a beast already in Revelation, and a woman riding on the beast, and the beast has 7 heads and 10 horns. So just keep that in the back of your mind. But we got 4 beasts here. We're going to understand it all. Matter of fact, we're going to know right quick what these beasts are. Skip down to 17, because that's the good thing about the Bible, brother. Says you ain't got to listen to a preacher lie to you and tell y'all kind of stuff. The Bible going to explain itself if you keep reading.
See, we just done already done the research, so we know where to go, jump around to find it. But it's going to explain itself. You ain't got to even guess about it. I used to be reading the Bible before I had a good teacher. I used to be reading the Bible like, I wonder what that means. And you would sit there and try to ponder on it yourself. I wonder what that means. You read that verse over and over. Look, that verse ain't going to change, and you ain't going to figure it out. That's why people don't keep reading the Bible. They be reading the Bible, they get stuck somewhere. What do that mean? But I had excellent teachers that showed me, look, you got to put the pieces together and read it somewhere else. It's going to explain it. If you keep reading it, you will find what it means somewhere else. Like right here, we don't know exactly. What are you talking about, beasts, right? 4 beasts came up from the sea, diverged from another. Verse 17, let's see what we're talking about.
These great beasts, which are four kings.
Oh, that's self-explanatory, right? It explains itself. You ain't got to take my word for it. These great beasts, which are four kings, or you could say kingdom, because they all rule in the world. These great beasts, which are four kings. Where are they coming from?
Which shall arise out of the earth.
Which shall arise out of the earth. Rulerships. That's what we're talking about. But let's see how far these 4 beasts are to go, brothers and sisters. Verse 18.
But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom.
Wait a minute. The saints are taking the kingdom from these 4 beasts? That's what it said. These great beasts, which are four kings, which shall rise out of the earth. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom. How long?
And possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever.
You mean, when do we get into heaven if we finna take over a kingdom that beasts have been ruling on the earth before? We never get into heaven. This is why Jesus said, the meek shall inherit the earth. He didn't tell you about going to heaven. This is all so simple. That's why the word of God says, don't be turned off or turned away from the simplicity that's in Christ. It's real simple. Preachers keep it confusing so they can keep robbing you. They make it confusing. They be like, oh, you don't understand. I know you don't understand. Yeah, because you ain't showed me nothing. That's what they should say. You the preacher, like he got a secret, but he don't know nothing. You just don't know he don't know nothing. That's the shame of it. But now we can understand this. These beasts are to rule until the saints of the Most High take over the kingdom. They're going to take over this world. You ain't going to heaven. The goal is to rule on this earth. This is what this whole thing is about. Jesus said, pray thy kingdom come. I mean, it don't get no clearer than that. And now he's making it clear that it's going to be some rulerships in charge until his kingdom come. 4 beasts gonna rule. Now they rule in this sequential order, one after another. So quite naturally, the one that's gonna be ruling when he come and take over is the 4th one, because they ruling one after another. And he showed you that. That's why we ain't really focusing on the first 3. I got a lesson deal with the whole thing. My teacher wrote a book dealing with the 4 winds of heaven, but we ain't really dealing with all 4 of them right now. We know it's 4. The most important one is the 4th one, because it's going to be around when Jesus comes. But now let's back up and we're going to read through them still. Go back to verse 4 now. Now that we know what these beasts are, we're going to just touch on each one of them. Verse 4. Go ahead.
The first was like a lion and had eagle's wings.
See, so that means the Lord is taking some animals and he's describing these man kingdoms that's rising on the earth. So the first beast, which is king of the beasts, the lion, and it had eagle's wing. That means that's a dangerous boy, right? A lion is dangerous by itself, and now you top it off with some eagle's wings? That beast is something, because this is the first world ruling empire. Go ahead.
I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth, and made stand upon the feet as a man. And a man's heart was given to it. See, now that was Babylon. If you read Daniel 2nd, the Lord showed you the 4 beasts through way of a statue. We're not going to read it. And he lets you know that the first one was Babylon. Nebuchadnezzar, which this guy who was the first year of his reign during this chapter, Belshazzar, he came from him. He was his son. Some people say grandson, whatever. He came from him. But
So he said this was a lion with eagle's wings. So that's Babylon. And now, verse 5, we got to get to the second because we got 4. Go ahead.
And behold, another beast, a second, like to a bear. And it raised up itself on one side, and it had 3 ribs in the mouth of it between the teeth of it. And they said thus unto it, Arise, devour much flesh.
Okay, so the second kingdom was described as a bear. So you got a lion with eagle's wings, then you got a bear. 2 dangerous creatures in the Lord's creation. Don't really get too much more dangerous than that. And this bear took over. The bear represents a joint rulership with the Medo-Persian. Again, we ain't really dealing, we just touching on to show you it is 4. See, now it's been plenty kingdoms in history. Egyptians had a great empire. People talk about the Syrians empire. It's been plenty empire. But what the Lord is showing you from this time, in Daniel's time, the kingdoms of the Gentiles. See, the Gentiles ruling now. They've been ruling the world for a long time, which we call white people. It's their time to rule. Other kingdoms ruled in the past. Now it's time for the Gentiles. So it started with the lion, which was Babylon. Then the bear took over. And you can look these up in history. They came one after another. Babylon, after Babylon, then the Medo-Persian Empire. That's what the bear represents. And after the Medo-Persian, we got verse 6. What happened?
After this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. The beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. See, now that is the third empire, which was the Greek Empire, and that's a dangerous animal. He enhancing these animals by giving some extras too than what we know. A leopard is a dangerous beast by itself, but then you turn around and put 4 wings of a fowl on a leopard and get a leopard 4 heads. See, that should give you some understanding of what we got in Revelation when we got a beast with what? 7 heads, right? See, really, you're going to find out that's just a regrouping of all of these right here. Because you got 4 heads right here, right? A leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl, and the beast had also 4 heads. A leopard, a 4-headed leopard, that's something else. And dominion was given to it. But now this is the one we want to get to, brothers and sisters. This is the one going to be around at the end. Verse 7. Go ahead. After this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a 4th beast.
See, this is the 4th one. And he talks more about this one than any of them, because this is really the most dangerous. And this is the one that's going to take it to the end. This is the one that's going to be around when Jesus comes. See, so this is how I know. This beast, whoever it is, got to rule till the Lord comes. Even if you don't think it's ruling, it's still controlling you some kind of way. That's what you need to take note of. It got to rule because after these 4, it's not like a 5th one going to come and take over before the Lord. No, the Lord said the saints of the Most High going to take it from when these 4 are done. So once the 4th one time is up, Jesus is going to reign. So he said, I saw in the night visions, behold, a 4th beast. What kind of animal did he use for this beast? Go ahead.
Dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly.
Wait a minute, what kind of animal is that? We don't even know no kind of animal, but it's a beast. It's a beast, but what the Lord is showing you, this beast is something else. Why? Because he done took the best ones. He took a lion, gave it some eagle's wing. Lion is king of the beast. That's dynamic. Then he took a bear. Then he took a leopard, gave it 4 heads and 4 wings of a fowl. This beast is so terrible, he like, I ain't got no animal for him. I'm just going to call him dreadful and terrible. That's how dangerous this one is. Because this one came with more than just military might. This one came with mind power. They got slick. They said, look, we ain't going to always be able to put the sword on their head. So we got to be able to control their head, control their mind. That's how they got slick. That's how they rule today, brothers and sisters. That's why all the religion that you think is right, but it's wrong, it come from where? Rome. That's why you celebrating Christmas. People celebrating Christmas don't know why they put the tree in their house on December 25th. That's because the Pope them told you to do it. And the Pope come from Rome. And we're going to see that. But go ahead.
Strong exceedingly.
Now this beast, no animal in the creation to use, he just called it dreadful and terrible, strong exceedingly, and what?
And it had great iron teeth.
Now it's a beast, but it's one we ain't never heard of. And it got great iron teeth. Go ahead.
It devoured and brake in pieces.
Oh, it's tearing something up. But what are these beasts? Kingdoms, right? We already know. Go ahead.
And stamped the residue with the feet of it.
And when it get done, it starts snapping on you. Go ahead.
And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it.
Uh-huh.
And it had 10 horns.
And it had 10 horns. Just like the beast in Revelation had 10 horns. Even though they different, it's some symbolism going on. The horns represent different things, but it's some symbolism going on. It had 10 horns. But notice that it said this beast was different or diverse from all the beasts or kingdoms. That's what we're talking about, right? That word before, this beast is something else. Go ahead, verse 8.
I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots.
Now, a little information what horns generally represent in the Bible. Beasts represent kingdoms, where horns generally represent individual kings out of the kingdoms. That's what horns generally represent. So these 10 horns represent 10 kings that come out of this kingdom. That's what they represent. But then he threw you a curveball. He said, as he checked the thrones out, as he checked out the horns, 3 of them got plucked up, but he said he considered the horns, those 10 kings, and there came up among them another little horn. All of a sudden, another different type of king come up. See, this is what you're going to understand before it's over with. The Pope who sit in Rome, he ain't nothing but a king. He just a different type. And eating food, it's nothing but politics. You think they care about church stuff? Really? They use church stuff to rule. But he a king. Understand that. He got his own sovereign government. One of them die, all the kings go pay their respects to him, don't they? All of them go over there. Because he is just another king. That's what he is. But he a different type. He don't come with the strong arm. He already did influence your mind before he got there. So he considered the horns, and among them came up another little horn. Pay attention, this little horn is significant throughout this whole thing. Go ahead. And he plucked up 3 of the first horn. So really, in short, I'm going to tell you, this beast is so dynamic. Rome was ruling during the time of Jesus, because these kingdoms came in order. Babylon ruled in the 600 BC. They ruled for a span. After Babylon ruled, you look in history, the Medo-Persian Empire, which is Russia and Iran, they had a joint rulership back in the day. They ruled after Babylon. And they ruled till approximately 3-something BC. After their time was up, who knocked them off? Alexander the Great and the Greeks knocked them off. Took over in around 3-something BC, 300-something BC. The Greek Empire, that's the 3rd one. Now around 100-something, and we're going to touch on this in history, BC. This is just a straight up history lesson, because that's how the Bible proved itself. 100-something BC, before Jesus came on the scene, Rome started ruling. They knocked off the Greek Empire, because the Greek Empire had fragmented after Alexander the Great died. So Rome started ruling. Now, your question still should be, well, still, brother, how do I see Rome ruling all the way down today? Because Rome had emperors that ruled with a strong hand. Once they put things together, they had, during the time of Jesus, there was an emperor, right? And the emperors lasted till around 470-something AD. That's when the last emperor got knocked off. But see, Rome got slick. That's where the 10 horns come in. They had people that came, they kept trying to prop it back up. Different men come along trying to prop it back up. And then also, not just them, another little king came along to help prop it back up. But now, let's see how far this is going to go either way. Did you finish verse 8?
No, sir.
Okay, read it again.
I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. And behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of man, and a mouth speaking great things.
See, he looked normal and civil, as opposed to a beast rulership, like kings, they just come to dominate. He looked a little more civil because he used religious as his backdrop. But go ahead, verse 9.
I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit.
See, he saw all the way to these thrones got put down. And the Ancient of Days, which is the Lord, did sit. Go ahead.
Whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool. His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire.
Go ahead.
A fiery stream issued and came forth from before him. Thousands ministered unto him, and 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. The judgment was set, and the books were opened.
See, it took it all the way down to judgment, but go ahead.
I beheld then because of the voice of the great words which the horn spake. I beheld even till the beast was slain, and his body destroyed and given to the burning flame.
See, he beheld till this beast finally got slain. That's what's going to happen in the end. And who's going to do it, G? We're going to read a little further just to touch on this while we're here. Verse 12.
As concerning the rest of the beasts, they had their dominion taken away, yet their lives were prolonged for a season and time. I saw in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven, and came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him.
And this is Jesus. And what's going to happen?
And there was given him dominion and glory and a kingdom, that all people, nations, and languages should serve him.
See, this don't sound like we're going to heaven. It sounds like Jesus' kingdom going to be on the earth. There was given him dominion and glory and a kingdom that all people on the earth, nations and languages should serve him. This is Jesus. When is he going to do this? After the fourth beast or kingdom, after his time is up. And that fourth beast is Rome. Go ahead.
His dominion is an everlasting dominion, which shall not pass away, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed.
See, and that's what we read. We read that the saints of the Most High going to take it, but they're not going to take it on their own. They're going to take it through Jesus. That's how they're going to take it. Skip down to verse 19, because he focused solely on this beast more than any of them. Verse 19, go ahead.
Then I would know the truth of the fourth beast, which was diverse from all the others.
See, this beast is something else. That's why I didn't even use an animal to describe. This kingdom's something else. That's how it's still ruling. But to everybody else, it's a great mystery. They don't see it. Go ahead.
Exceeding dreadful, whose teeth were of iron, and his nails of brass, which devoured, brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with his feet.
Go ahead.
And of the 10 horns that were in his head.
Those are kings that came up to help prop it up through the years. Go ahead.
And of the other which came up, and before him 3 fell.
See, and that's the little horn. That's the religious leader. And what he do is he get these emperor type men, these temporal leaders, he get them to go along. Because, when I was young, I used to think about stuff like this. I used to look at the world, and I used to say to myself, who died and left the Pope in charge? I was like, who did that? Now if I could read that in the Bible, and God said, look, I'm going to leave a guy in Rome in charge. I don't see none of that in the Bible. So I used to wonder about that. Well, how did he get in charge? But when I got into this, I see how he got in charge. He got power by dealing with these other leaders, these other kings. How else did he get power? For instance, he got Vatican City. That's a sovereign state within a sovereign state. How you do that, that's something else. In Rome. How did that happen? Because one of them kings had to give it to him. One of them kings, in this case, is one of these horns, it was Benito Mussolini. That's how he got Vatican City. Benito Mussolini. And understand, these military type men, I'm just going to call them emperors, who been trying to run things. They want to run things. They didn't care less. They didn't really want to deal with the Pope. They was forced to deal with the Pope because he had so much influence. They was forced to deal with him. Just like Mussolini gave them Vatican City, really because the Pope had what they called a bunch of papal states all over the place. He had papal lands and said, look, you can't tax me on this stuff. That's why they got it where churches don't have to pay tax. That's like we got it. We don't have to, we can go, people act like, well, you something wrong with having a 501c3. That's stupidity. We could go buy anything and don't pay taxes on it from the store. Hey, but that really come because that man that fought with these leaders and made them give him some respect. So that's what happened. He had all these papal states, and Mussolini was tired of it. He said, look, I tell you what, you give me all these lands you got over here, you give me them back. And I'm going to give you one right here. I want you to stay here. Vatican said, the Pope was like, cool. That's going to be mine. You can't do nothing. It's mine. He's like, yep, this is yours. You give me all them other lands back. And that's what happened. But this is how the deal then went down. This is how he got to be so powerful. He been dealing with these emperor type men through the years. That's how he got the power. So this is kind of what it's showing us, that this little horn come up, like verse 20 said, and the 10 horns, these are 10 kings that come up through the years, which were in the head of what? The head of the fourth beast. And of the other which came up, that's the little special looking horn. He looked different than them emperor type men, before whom 3 fell. So the 3 that fell were these Germanic people who tried to take over once Rome fell, because they the ones kind of tore Rome up back in the day. These what they call Goths, all these Goths, Ostrogoths and Huruli, they tore Rome up and knocked the emperor down. But then the Pope was there to say, look, don't tear it all up. You know, I can help you run. And then he pulled some trickery on them and had somebody knock them off. So he knocked off 3 of those horns. That's important to know. So really, it's only 7 left on the 4th beast here. 7 physical horns left. And you got the little horn. So he said, and the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the other which came up before whom 3 fell. Even of that horn that had eyes, and a mouth that spake very great things, whose look was more stout than his fellows. He looked a little more prestigious than a regular king. He get a little more respect too. 21.
I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints.
Now this is what you need to understand. Whoever this is, they don't care about the real saints. They making war with the saints. Go ahead.
And prevailed against them.
And they winning. Go ahead.
Until the Ancient of Days came.
Until the end of the world, till the Lord decided to take this thing over. Go ahead.
And judgment was given to the saints of the Most High.
And what?
And the time came that the saints possessed the kingdom.
See, that's why the Lord got to take over this world, because as long as these worldly kingdoms are ruling, God's saints are getting taken advantage of. God's saints can't thrive. This is why Jesus said the meek gonna inherit the earth. Well, who you gonna inherit it from? You gonna inherit it from this 4th beast. Because they ruling it now, the way they want to rule it. And you can see it's not working well. I mean, look how messed up the world is. Not working too well. But they won't admit that. Go ahead.
23. Thus he said, the 4th beast shall be the 4th kingdom upon the earth.
See, we don't have to explain that, do we? Nope. The 4th beast shall be the 4th. Now, there's been plenty of kingdoms on the earth, brothers and sisters. Understand that. But it's only really been 4 world ruling empires on the earth that was ruling the whole known world. And it started with Babylon and it ended with Rome. Just like right now, America's a kingdom, but they don't rule the whole world. They got trouble with Russia right now. So, yep, got trouble with North Korea. So they not ruling the whole world. And really the only thing America and Soviet Union, they all playing in the playground that Rome set up. That's what they don't get. Just like even America's political system, you got senators and all that. You know who started that? Rome started that. So they got it all based on the same thing. And don't talk about the religion. They got all that from Rome. So now he said, thus he said, the 4th beast shall be the 4th kingdom upon the earth, which shall do what?
Which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down, and break it in pieces.
Go ahead.
And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall rise, and another shall rise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings.
See, that's what that little horn did. He knocked off them first 3. But go ahead.
And he shall speak great words against the Most High.
But he don't like the Most High. He contrary to the Lord. Though he talk like he is a man of God. Go ahead.
And shall wear out the saints of the Most High.
Wear out the saints of the Most High. What else?
And think to change times and laws.
And how long?
And they shall be given into his hand until a time and the dividing of
See,
time.
this is at the end of the world. 3.5 years tribulation. That's going to be the end of it. And when it comes, that's when the Lord going to take over. We're going to go ahead and read those last 2 verses. I'll be trying to rush, but we're going to finish it. Go ahead.
But the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his dominion to consume and to destroy it unto the end. And the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven.
Not up in heaven, under the whole heaven. Who is going to be given to?
Shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom.
Now that show you what this is. What if you a saint, this is what you should be looking forward to. Taking over from the 4th world ruling empire that's mentioned in this chapter. That's what the saints gonna do. Ruling right on the earth. The meek gonna inherit the earth. The kingdom of God is gonna be right here. And the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven. That means that's on the earth. Shall be given to who? The people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom. And what else?
And all dominions shall serve and obey him.
That's right. Now go back to Revelation, the 13th chapter. And we're going to come back to Daniel a little bit later on. But Revelation 13. Revelation 13. Now, what we got to show is how you get from Daniel 7 with that beast there, the 4th beast, and the 4th one started ruling, like I said, in around 1-some BC. How you get from there all the way down to us. Well, that's what he started to show you in Revelation. That's what this other looking beast come up is showing you. 13:1. Go ahead.
And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up of the sea.
Now we got to understand the beasts generally represent kingdoms, right? Well, you should say, what kingdom is this? Understand, you only got 4, right? So we don't have a 5th one or a 6th one. We only got 4. What possibly could this be talking about? It's only talking about the 4th one, but it's showing you a regrouping or a revival of it, because we can see Rome having had a constant thread of ruling with an iron fist from all the way back in Jesus' day. Because right now, just looking at it, you say, Rome ain't ruling. What are you talking about? Rome still ruling. No, they haven't had a constant thread, but they still kept enough power where they can get it all back. That's the key to it, and that's what they in the process of doing now. They putting it all back together, but because they kept enough. In other words, the first beast came and went, finito, gone, it was over. The second beast came and went, finito, gone and over. The third beast came and went, finito, gone. The 4th beast came, kind of bagged up a little bit, but didn't go finito over. That's what happened. That's the difference. The 4th beast just lost some power, but they were slick. They said, look, we're going to hold on a little bit through this religion till we can put it back together. And this is what he's showing you in Revelation here. So what the beast that you see here is this beast coming back in the full power, being revived, which has always been the goal. I stood upon the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having what?
Having 7 heads and 10 horns.
Now this one got 7 heads and 10 horns. Now the heads is showing you that this is the revival of this whole system, because really the system is one. It started with Babylon, and that's why Babylon is in the title, because the way the Lord look at it, though Rome is ruling, the Lord look at it who he gave it to. He let Nebuchadnezzar start it off, and he said Nebuchadnezzar was the first, and he called Nebuchadnezzar the head of gold. So he is the head, so he called it still Babylon, because though it changed hands, they only ruled what the Lord gave to him, Babylon. That's why it's still called Babylon in some aspects. That's the way the Lord look at it. Because they only ruled in what was given. So that's a spiritual name for it. So, but this beast is putting it all back together. That's why I got 7 heads. How many heads did we have on the 4 beasts adding up in Daniel 7? We had a lion, right? How many heads do a lion got? 1 head. Then we had a bear. How many heads do a bear got? It got 1 head. That's 2, right? Then we had a leopard. Leopard didn't have 1 head, but that one did. How many heads did that leopard have? 4. It had 4. How many is 4 and 2? That's 6, right? Then we had a dreadful tail. We don't even know what that is, but it's a beast. It got a head. Didn't say it had 2 heads. Didn't say it had 3. It had a head. That's 7 heads, right? See, so this beast is putting it all back together. That's why this beast got 7 heads. And it's showing you it's a conglomeration of all of them. Because it's ruling the whole system like they all did. So that's why I got 7 at night. It got 10 horns. Now the horns not the same that was on the 4th beast. Because this is still the 4th beast, but 3 of those horns got plucked up. But these are 10 kings in the last days. But it's similar, it's symbolic. It got 10 horns just like it had in the old days. But what else do it got?
And upon his head, and upon his horns 10 crowns.
And upon his horns 10 crowns, because these are 10 modern kings. But we'll get to that. Go ahead.
And upon his heads the name of blasphemy.
The name of blasphemy. Verse 2.
And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard.
Now the beast is like a leopard. I'm telling you, it got all the characteristics, the best characteristics of all 4 of the beasts in Daniel 7. Because one of the beasts was a leopard. So this beast got 10 horns. It's like a leopard. It got 10 horns just like the 4th beast had in Daniel 7. It's like a leopard just like the Greek Empire was a leopard. What else?
And his feet were as the feet of a bear.
Well, the Medo-Persians was a bear, right? Go ahead.
And his mouth as the mouth of a lion.
Where the Babylon was a lion with eagle's wings, right? So I tell you, it's a regrouping of all of them. Go ahead.
And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority.
So if you don't get nothing out of this, you know we talking to beasts, we talking a dynamic kingdom that's going to be running some stuff. That's what we talking about. And they getting power from Satan. They're going to have all kind of power. And they getting it back. That's why America got to backpedal. America going to get worse and worse, while over in Rome and Europe, they getting better and better. That's what we've been doing. That's going to happen. That's why I know what Donald Trump is good for. He ain't good but shoot the country in the foot. But go ahead, verse 3.
And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death.
Now one of his heads were wounded to death. What a Roman head got a wound on it. It got wounded to death, but guess what? It didn't die. Got a deadly wound. Go ahead.
And his deadly wound was healed.
Oh, but it's about to be healed. Go ahead.
And all the world wondered after the beast.
Now again, we talking a kingdom. Everybody gonna be listening and going along with this. All the world wondered after the beast. Now go to the 17th chapter of Revelation. So now we should be getting the picture. The beast, Rome, it's a mystery Babylon, because that's where it all started. It's still ruling, brother and sister, because it's getting healed. 17:1 though. Go ahead.
And there came one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters.
So now all of a sudden the whore enters into the picture. A great whore sitting on many waters, because this is really the only way this beast has survived. Rome would have been dead if it wasn't for the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church kept Rome. That's why they give the Pope so much props and credit. He kept it together. So that's why it's mentioned in this woman. But they called this woman a great whore because what she peddling is not godly stuff. But it's not meant to be. They just want power. They don't care. You know, if you want to worship a tree, long as we can be in charge of you worshiping a tree. That's how they feel about it. You want to worship a tree? Oh, okay. Well, we're going to show you how to do that. And you're going to have to pay me to worship the tree. That's all they care. They don't care about saying, no, you shouldn't worship a tree if you're going to serve God. That's what servants of God will tell you. But if you're more political, you would say, well, if you want to do it, let's just make it about Jesus.
Right.
That way they control it still. And you still going to them. But go ahead.
Verse 2.
With
whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication.
So it's a great whore. See, I told you the Bible be talking like it's cursing people out. It's a great whore. And then it said, the kings of the earth been sleeping with this great whore. They've been committing fornication with her. Is this a physical woman? No, it's a spiritual woman. It's the religion. But all the leaders of the world have went along with this system that came out of Rome. They went along with it. What Rome say, they have adopted. They let all this false teaching into their countries. Now the whole world is infested with it. So with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication. That's why the Bible says Satan had to see the whole world. Because all of them went for the lie. Now, everything we know about Rome said, well, yeah, you're going to die and go to heaven. Because they really said, we're going to keep running it down here. But Jesus said, no, he's going to take over from Rome. But no, the church said, no, we're going to go to heaven. Saints go to heaven. That's where the saints going to go. But my Bible said the saints going to rule on earth. That's what the Bible said. So they telling you something totally different. They giving you some bad alcohol and got you drunk. Go ahead, verse 2, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication with the whore. Now how the whore get here? See, there's no such thing as the Catholic Church without the Roman Empire, brothers and sisters. And actually the name is not even Catholic Church. What's the name?
Holy Roman Empire.
Well, Roman Catholic Church. And they made it a Holy Roman Empire at the time. But the official name of the church is what? Roman Catholic. That's what it is. So now, look at it. He said, the kings of the earth have committed fornication and what?
And the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication.
Everybody drunk. You can't tell them nothing about God in the Bible because it don't make no sense to them now. Go ahead. You tell them Christmas is pagan. That's idolatry. It don't have nothing to do with Jesus. They stumbling. They've been sipping on that wine. They're like, no, it's okay. Well, you know, it wasn't Jesus' birthday. It's okay. He was born. Why you put a tree in your house? Ain't nothing wrong with trees. Don't make no sense. They've been sipping from the cup. So the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication, her false teaching. You drunk off of it. And that's how they've been controlling you. So when they lost the military power, they put on some mind power to control you. Go ahead, verse 3.
So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness. And I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast.
Notice it's telling you how the woman got here. She didn't come here on her own. There would be no Roman Catholic Church if it wasn't for the Roman Empire. She rode in on the beast. He said, I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast full of what?
Full of names of blasphemy.
That means this is contrary to God, brothers and sisters. Go ahead.
Having 7 heads and 10 horns.
7 heads and 10 horns. It's built on the dynasty of the Gentiles, and also the city that it resides in got seven mountains. Because Rome is famous for 7 hills. And it got 10 kings now that's going to help put this thing back together as ruling now. We're going to get to that, verse 4.
And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet colors.
That's their colors. Go ahead.
And decked with gold and precious stone and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication.
Got all kind of money, richer than anybody, colleges, hospitals. You can't get sick and go to the hospital, you're going to end up probably at St. Somebody Hospital. I don't have to live here to know you'd have been at St. Somebody Hospital. So, because they got the money. They got the university. They got all this money. And they even got a golden cup, but it's filthiness in the cup that you're drinking out of. The cup can look good on the outside until you start drinking out of it. And it don't take a little bit just to taint something. You know, I got a cup of water here, a full cup of water. Let somebody come in here and have a little vial and put 1 drop of pee in it.
There you go.
That messed this whole cup of water up. I'm gonna put that over there.
That is right.
But go ahead.
5. And upon her forehead was a name written.
What's her name?
Mystery Babylon the Great.
Oh, that's it. It's a mystery though, and it go all the way back to Babylon. But now who is ruling Babylon's empire that God gave to him? Rome is. But that's the spiritual name. And it's a mystery. Don't nobody know. But the saints know. Those that truly know God, we know. And hey, that comes with a price, because when it comes time to kill it, they're going to be looking for those of us that know. That's pulling the wool off people's eyes. So he said, and she had a name on her forehead, Mystery, Babylon the Great. What else?
The mother of harlots.
The mother of harlots. Even the Roman Catholic Church call herself the mother church. Admittedly, be like, y'all don't know nothing except we gave you. And that's true, because everything that the world called religion, they got it from them. Except what we doing, we getting it from the Bible. But what everybody else doing, they got it from Rome. That's why Rome would tell the Protestants, sometimes Protestants try to argue with the Catholic Church. And the Catholic Church say, y'all don't believe in the Bible. They say, no, we believe in the Bible. We accept. We don't believe. And the Catholic Church, I heard a Catholic priest say, well, why do y'all go to church on Sunday? It ain't in the Bible. We told y'all to do that. And that messed them up. Because she is the mother church. Go ahead.
The mother of harlots.
Mother of harlots. Go ahead.
And abominations of the earth.
And it's abominations of the earth. Go ahead.
And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints.
That means she been killing some saints and she ain't done. We read he gonna wear out the saints. Go ahead.
And with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. And the angel said unto me, Wherefore didst thou marvel?
Now we read this, we're going to read it again. Go ahead.
I will tell thee the mystery of the woman, and of the beast that carrieth her, which hath the 7 heads and 10 horns.
He said he's going to tell you the mystery of it. Now this really sums it up for us and how we get here, brothers and sisters. Because the Lord gave you 4 kingdoms that was going to rule to the end. Now the 4th one was ruling way back in the day. You look around now and you say again, Rome ain't really ruling, but you see the aspect of the religion. So, what has happened? Verse 8.
The beast that thou sawest.
Now the beast, this is the beast that John saw. He explaining the beast to John. And understand this, it can't be another beast, brothers and sisters. It's only 4 that's going to rule. It's only 4 kings going to rule. So it has to be the 4th one. And now he's going to break that down to John. He said the beast or kingdom that thou sawest what?
And is not. And shall
Wait, read that again. I'm sorry. Verse 8.
The beast that thou sawest was.
Oh, the beast that thou sawest was,
and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into perdition.
Now, how is the beast was and is not and shall ascend? Because Rome was a mighty power under the emperors. It lost some power, so it say it was, and then it's coming back into power to put a hurting on the world. Go back into perdition. And everybody that dwell on the earth go wonder. Go ahead.
And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of the life from the foundation of the world.
When they do what?
When they behold the beast that was and is not and yet is.
See, that's why you don't see Rome ruling. That's it right there. He said when when this beast come back to power, everybody gonna follow, because they gonna be like, wow, when they behold the beast that was and is not and yet is. How can you be not and yet is? Because Rome lost the power and they kind of ruling a little bit behind the scenes, just pulling strings. But you don't see them ruling. But they ruling, they still there, brothers and sisters. They never lost the power totally. They just got hurt a little bit. They kept enough power. That's why he said, this beast was and is not and yet is, because we know we only got 4. So that's why the title is The Beast, Rome, Mystery Babylon, still ruling today. Now we're going to look at some history to kind of bring us up to speed, because we're going to show you how it started back in the day, and how you really could see it, connect the dots to it ruling down to our day. So we're going to start off on the one sheet with all the history. I put it all together in the same paper. World Book Encyclopedia, volume 16. And that's on this sheet right here. And we're not going to read the top because that was dealing with the Greek Empire. That was before the Roman Empire. We're going to read the second paragraph where it said Greece. Because Rome took over for Greece when it got started. That's where it got started. Go ahead.
Greece at this time was torn by quarrels among its city-states.
See, Greece is that leopard that was ruling before Rome. Greece is that third beast. The Greek Empire ruled, and after the Greek Empire, Rome took some of the good aspects of the Greek Empire too, because that's how slick they are. But they took over. And nobody having never just taken over and been ruling Rome, ruling the whole world like Rome did. Greece at this time was torn by quarrels among city-states. Go ahead.
Perseus, who had succeeded his father, Philip V, as king of Macedonia, took advantage of Greek discontent to provoke a war with Rome.
See, they saw Rome trying to come with some power, so this Greek, because Greek had fragmented by then. They had all kind of fragmentations. So this guy tried to provoke a war with Rome, but he didn't know what he was getting into. He thought he could deal with him. Go ahead.
Rome easily crushed Perseus in 168 BC.
Now look at we way back in the day, right? But we gonna bring this thing all the way down to our day. Rome easily crushed Perseus in 168 BC. This is 160 years before Jesus was on the scene. That's why when Jesus was on the scene, the emperors were reigning supreme, the emperors of Rome. That was the empire ruling. And nobody has taken over from that empire. So 168 BC, that's when Rome crushed Perseus. Go ahead.
The Romans suppressed further Greek and Macedonian revolts in 148 BC and made Macedonia the first Eastern Roman province. 2 years later, the Romans destroyed the city of Corinth, completing their conquest of Greece.
Oh, so the Romans indeed took over from the Greek Empire. See, one took over from another. Babylon was first, then the Medes and the Persians, then the Greeks knocked the Medes and the Persians off, and then Rome knocked the Greek Empire off. But now we way back in Jesus' time, and we know Rome was ruling through Jesus' time on up to, I told you, around 476 AD. That's when the last emperor fell. But still, that didn't end it. We're going to see. Let's go to the next one, which is right under that, the last 2 million years. This is page 217, and it's going to show you once Rome fell as an emperor's power, then that's when the little horn stepped in. Go ahead. Page 217, last 2 million years.
An empire created by the Pope.
See, an empire created by the Pope. Because the goal was not to let Rome die. And they kept it alive, where this is why it's the beast that was and is not, but yet is. So we still talking empire, and we talking the Roman Empire. An empire created by the Pope. See, he's that little horn that come along that the Bible telling us about. Go ahead.
In 800.
Now we all the way up to 800. Because officially, the official date for Rome, the last emperor, Augustus, was in 476 AD. That was the last emperor. So it was some fighting going on, and the Pope started working his magic then. Now, all the way up until 800, the Pope is putting his stamp down. It said in 800, in return for who?
For Charlemagne's intervention to protect him against his rival, Adrian, Pope Leo III, revived an old title and crowned him emperor of the Roman Empire in the West.
See what the Pope, see this, and like I said, I used to wonder, well, how the Pope get in charge? Hey, he been politicking. That's how he got in charge. He been politicking. Because he ain't got no army, he ain't going out fighting nobody, is he? But he know how to deal with him. Like, look, why don't you take care of him for me? Can you knock him off for me? And because see, he had so much influence, they went for it. So, and ultimately he controlling it then. It said in 800, in return for Charlemagne's intervention to protect him against his rival Adrian, Pope Leo III revived an old title, and he crowned the man emperor of the Roman Empire in the West. So now we still got a Roman Empire. We still talking about it in 800 now. Go ahead.
Charlemagne had no wish to appear to owe his title to Leo, and would have preferred to crown himself But the Pope took him by surprise in St. Peter's on Christmas Day, 800, and placed the crown on his head before Charlemagne could prevent it.
Well, the Pope was slick, wasn't he? See, because I told you these strong men, they didn't want to deal with this religious man. They didn't want to have to deal with him and owe him nothing. But the Pope was slick. He was politicking. So Charlemagne had no wish to appear to owe his title to Leo, because he going out conquering people. And by the way, Charlemagne and Justini, these are part of the horns that was left on that beast after the Pope plucked the first 3 up. These were the 7 that was left. And their dream was to bring Rome back. They was trying to bring Rome back, but none of them haven't did it officially until it happened in these last days. It's going to come all the way back full-fledged because the deadly wound going to be healed. So it says Charlemagne had no wish to appear to owe his title to Leo and would have preferred to crown himself, but the Pope took him by surprise in St. Peter's on Christmas Day, 800, and placed the crown on his head before Charlemagne could prevent it. Go ahead.
So originated the idea of the Holy Roman Empire.
See, this is where now they came up with, it wasn't just the Roman Empire, because religion has stepped in now. See, this is where the woman come in, and this is why you got a woman with blaspheming. That's where she come in at. Remember, she riding the beast, right? So we got to see it. This how the beast stayed in power, because they started using religion. So now we not just calling it the Roman Empire, he called it the Holy Roman Empire. This where it started at, right here, when he crowned this guy. So originated the idea of the Holy Roman Empire. Who came up with that?
A creation of the papacy.
A creation of who? The papacy. That's that little horn. Go ahead.
Which was to rival the popes and which survived until the 19th century.
Wait a minute. You mean to tell me we done came all the way to the 19th century? See, that's 1800 something. So this is why we understand that Rome is still ruling. They had tweaked this thing and brought it all the way down to us. He started working with these kings, and then you know, the popes died, but they got another one replace him, right? And then other kings come along, hey, that pope would deal with that king. And they keep getting deals out of these guys, getting concessions out of them.
Right, that's right.
But now, let's go a little further. Go to the one below that, a Pictorial History of the Italian People, page 82, because this is a separate history book, but it's going to give us the same insight, because what we doing, brothers and sisters, we showing clearly how Rome is still ruling and how you get from Rome back in the day to down to our time, because that's what we got to get. Because Rome got to make it to the end of the world when Jesus take over. Nobody else is coming along and going to run this thing. Rome is running it. Oh, go ahead. Page 82, Pictorial History. Another one of those horns in Daniel 7 that came along some years after Charlemagne. Go ahead.
Otto the Great. According to a legend, the widow of Lothair of Provence, who had been a claimant to the Italian throne in 951, asked the German king Otto, later called the Great, to come to her rescue against Berenger II. He did so. Berenger was defeated, and Otto was acclaimed king of Italy, 952. A revolt in Germany and the approach of a large horde of the barbarian Magyars soon compelled the new king to return north. Berenger resumed the Italian crown. A few years later, Pope John XII asked Otto to come to Italy to fight against Berenger.
So now again, you see how the Pope been working it?
Right.
See, that's what I'm saying. I found out how the Pope got in charge. God didn't leave him in charge. He been cutting deals and politicking. That's how he got the power he got. So now he asked this guy Otto, you know, will you come and fight against this guy, Berenger? Go ahead.
Victorious once more, Otto sent the prisoner Berenger to Germany and had himself crowned king of Italy in Pavia and emperor in Rome, 962. Charlemagne had been Roman emperor in the west. Otto's reign inaugurates the Holy Roman Empire founded on the principle.
What principle?
One pope, one emperor.
Wait a minute.
There we go.
It's founded on, it's not just, the Pope done got so much power now, they can't even exclude him from the throne. It's like he crowned Charlemagne, you the king, but you know I'm running it because I'm really crowned you.
Right.
Even though he slipped the crown on his head. But now Otto had to concede that, hey, because the Pope got all this influence, he got all these people coming to him now. So Otto's reign inaugurates the Holy Roman Empire founded on this principle, one Pope and one Emperor. And see, that's where that little horn came in Daniel 7. He's the one that looked a little more special than the regular king like Otto and Charlemagne, who just out there killing people. The Pope killing people too. He just doing it slick. Go ahead.
Which would last in name only for several centuries until 1806.
Until what? Well, we all the way down. We right up on our time now, right? We right up on our time. Because their goal was to put it back together, but none of them accomplished it. You know who gonna accomplish it? See, it was 7 kings. It was 10 kings on the 4th beast that was to come, and they was gonna try to revive Rome. Well, Pope didn't like 3 of them. He got rid of the first 3. That left 7. And part of those 7, I mentioned Justini. We talked about Charlemagne. You had Otto. You had some others we're not gonna get into, like Charles V. You had other kings that come along and the Pope worked with them. Then I mentioned the 6th one. Which was Benito Mussolini. Because this is how the Pope got Vatican City, working with him. Okay? Now, what's going to happen, this last one to come, him and the Pope going to work it together. They going to put this thing all the way back together. Just like it said here, one Pope and one Emperor, because the story not over yet. We still see a Pope over there, right? We still see a Prime Minister over there. And the Lord not ruling on this earth yet, right? So this is how this story going to end. Now, let's look at Fox News. This is from January 1st, 2002. We getting closer and closer to our time, brothers. So that's what we doing. Because a logical question would be if you tell somebody, well, Rome's still ruling. I know, hey, Rome's still ruling. That don't make no sense to me. Well, when you understand the Bible, you can see it. They brought this thing down to our time. So this is on the right. Fox News is from January 1st, 2002. What did it say?
Paris, for the first time since...
Now start at the top. Euros.
Europeans test out euros on the first day of currency changeover.
Europeans test out euros on the first day of currency change. See, most people go to church, too busy dancing and hopping around and singing. They don't know what's going on, how the Bible is being fulfilled. This was some great prophecy being fulfilled because Rome is being put back together. How is it being put back together? Look, when the Roman Empire was in full force, they ruled all of Europe, basically. They was ruling all that area, Africa. They was ruling the whole known world. They was ruling England and all that. They was ruling all of it. But now, you got all these different countries ruling themselves in Europe. So now, how is the Pope going to rule all these people physically? How they going to work this? Well, what they going to do, they got to get all these countries to operate as one. And that's what they doing. So what they did first, they put the economics together. They got all these countries to get rid of their currencies that they had. And they all got one currency. And it's called the euro. And that's monumental. Because the only way they could be a force and rule the world and take over and be, greater than America, influencing the world, is to have a United States of Europe. So that's what they working on. So what happened? They all got this new currency, and it started in 2002. It's full-fledged now. So this was January 1st, 2002. Now go ahead. Paris, what happened?
Paris, for the first time since the era of the Roman Empire.
Oh, no kidding, huh? No, see, we didn't have nothing to do with writing this stuff. But why did the writer put it like that because that's the truth, brothers and sisters. Rome is being healed in front of us. The writer said this, for the first time since the era of the Roman Empire, what?
All of Europe is using one currency.
Are they back to using one currency? Go ahead.
In this case, rainbow-colored banknotes called euros.
See, now they all had their own currency. Greek had their currency. Italy had their currency. You know, France had their currency. Now they all got the same currency. So this is putting it back together. Yeah, England didn't go along with it. That's why England had to get out. They ain't gonna be able to stay in. But go ahead, keep reading.
After midnight struck and New Year's Day dawned, people across the continent began trying to use the novel money. But since so many cafes, restaurants, and shops were closed Tuesday for the holiday, patrons found themselves sticking to their old currency.
Because they could still use their own currency for some time, last about a year. Now they can't use that. Their currency is obsolete now. You can't use that no more. But when it first was installed, you know, they gave them a little time to get it together. Go ahead.
Most Europeans saw the crisp new bills for the first time on the way home from New Year's parties when they stopped at automated teller machines. Others who went out to breakfast and paid with their old currency got change in euros.
See, this is monumental for them to do this. But this is reviving, according to this article. They might not know what they're saying, but it's reviving the Roman Empire. Read it. It got a picture. You can't hardly see the picture. Read the caption under the picture.
A Roman couple.
A what couple? A Roman couple. That's all Italy is Roman. A Roman couple does what?
Celebrate the new year and the new currency.
But now, go ahead. Read a little further. The other paragraph where it's funny.
It's funny to pay in francs and get this back, said Evelyn Pateau, a customer in the Paris bakery, examining a pastel blue bank note. It's like money, monopoly money.
But now that's all they know. They don't have francs no more. Francs are obsolete now. Isn't that something? The drachma, which the Greeks had, they had it for thousands of years. It's obsolete. Go ahead.
And after more than a decade of preparing for the one currency system, the euro became legal tender in the continent on the first of the year 2002. It is perhaps the most concrete evidence of Europe's transition from a divided continent to a team of nations working toward the same goal.
And that's how they put it back together. Because they individual countries, so now they got to get them to work together to operate as one. Go ahead.
The 12 European Union nations,
it's a lot more than that now, but go ahead,
that adopted the euro are parting with currencies that have long histories, such as Greece's drachma, which stretches back to 2,600 years.
2,600 years they done dumped it. But this is showing you Rome is putting it back in place. Now, let's go to one more place. Time magazine, that's this one. And this bring it all the way down. We're coming from 2002. This took place in 2015, was just 2.5 years ago, right? So we all the way down to our day. Again, we didn't write this. Just read the cap. You see who that is with all the people there to see them. Read under there who that is. This is from Time magazine, of course. Go ahead.
Pope Francis waves to the crowd as he arrives in Bosnia and Herzegovina for a mass in 2015. Pope Francis and the New Roman Empire.
That's the title of this Time magazine. It was on the cover of Time magazine. That's what they titled it. Pope Francis and the what? New Roman Empire. September 17, 2015. So we came from when the Roman Empire started before Jesus was born, all the way down here. We still dealing with it. You know why? Because it's still ruling.
Yes, sir.
And they're going to get all the power back that they had. Now we're going to wrap it up. Let's go to Revelation, the 17th chapter. We're going to pick up where we left off at. Revelation 17 and verse 8. And you're going to see how that currency is just the first step. You know how you become a kingdom or a beast. You got to have some military. So the currency is one thing, the next thing they already doing, I could have brought an article showing you how they doing that. Now they got joint military working together. But this is what it's going to show you. 17 and 8. Go ahead.
The beast that thou sawest was, and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit, and go into perdition.
Rome was, and they fell off the wagon a little bit, but they coming back to power, and they're going to put a hurting on the world. Go ahead.
And go into perdition, and they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they behold the beast that was, and is not, and yet is.
The beast that was, Rome was a mighty power back in the day under the emperors. It lost that power, so you say it is not, but it didn't lose it all, so it says yet is. And it's coming all the way back. Go ahead, verse 9.
And here is the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth.
See, and that's what they are, the 7 heads. It's the Gentile dynasty that she riding, going back to Daniel 7, but also Rome is built on 7 hills. But go ahead.
10. And there are 7 kings.
Now, who are the 7 kings? They come from the beast in Daniel 7. It was 10 horns on that beast, but remember, 3 got plucked up. That's why I say the regrouping the 10 horns is something different. So some of this get kind of complicated, but that's what it is. The 10 horns on this revived Roman Empire, we're gonna call it that, because it's coming with a new look. The 10 horns are not the same as when it started off in Daniel 7, because 3 of those horns got plucked up. The 10 horns showing you its new look now. But because it was only 3, 3 was plucked up, it was only 7 left, and that represents these kings. We've been talking about them: Charlemagne, Otto the Great. I mentioned Justini, Charles V. Also, you had Benito Mussolini. He's really the 6th one. I might have left one out, but it's gonna be 7 total to wrap this thing up. Go ahead, read it again, verse 10.
And there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen, and 1 is, and the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space.
When he come, he must continue a short space. So what it is, see, that's why the Lord told Daniel, shut up the word, seal the book. It's not for you to understand. See, this wasn't meant to be understood until a set time. So when this was going to be understood, Benito Mussolini was on the scene. He would have been the 6th. He would have been the 1 is. And now we waiting on 1 more to come, and he gonna run it with the Pope. Remember, they inaugurated the Holy Roman Empire principle of what? 1 Pope, 1 Emperor. See, that's the difference that you're gonna see in this new Roman Empire. Back in the day, it was 1 emperor. He didn't have no co-ruler with him. He didn't have no help. The emperor said what it was, and that's what it was, period. Now, this new look of a Roman Empire is a little unique, because religion has stepped in. So now you got a 2-headed system. You got a pope and you got this emperor, because the pope been making deals all the time, right? And he's a force to be reckoned with. So now you got a 2-headed system. So that's why he say, when he come, he must continue a short space. That's the emperor type man. And he gonna work with the religious leader. Verse 11.
And the beast that was, and is not, even he is the 8th, and is of the 7th, and goeth into perdition.
Now that sounds a little confused, but it's real simple. Rome really was a mighty kingdom, and is not, and is coming back into power. So even though when you count the heads from the Gentile dynasty, Babylon, Medo-Persian, the Greek head, the Roman head, even though this is Rome, it's a brand new look. So it's the same dynasty, but it's so much work to put it back together. It's like a new dynasty. They got to get these countries to have 1 currency. They got to get these countries to put their militaries together. So it's like a brand new dynasty, even though it's still the same one. It's Rome. But go ahead.
12. And the 10 horns which thou sawest.
Now here go the 10 horns on this new beast here. Go ahead.
Are 10 kings, which have received no kingdoms as yet.
See, when this was understood, they hadn't had it yet, but go ahead.
But receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast.
They gonna receive power for a short time with the beast. 10 individual kings Because it's hard to keep a group of nations together under these circumstances. So 10 gonna ride or die with them. 10 of them gonna ride or die with them. Go ahead.
13. These have one mind, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast.
See, and that's how this is working. Just like they got all the same currency, they gonna get their military. So these 10 sovereign nations are gonna operate as one with, and which is bringing the Roman Empire back. These have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. These are 10 individual European kings. America ain't got nothing to do with this. Go ahead, 14.
These shall make war with the land.
Wait a minute. This was nobody. I wish a preacher just read this. Even if you don't read none of this stuff we didn't read. He ain't got to read none of this. Read this. And somebody gonna have to figure out something. Because this telling you what it was. This what it's always boiled down to. How else is the Lord gonna take the kingdom from the fourth world ruling empire unless he make war with them? And the fourth empire got to still be here. So these 10 leaders operating on this revived Roman Empire, they are going to make war with Jesus, the Lamb. That's how he going to take it over, because he ruling after their time is up. Go ahead.
And the Lamb shall overcome them.
Well, we could have figured that. Go ahead, because it told us in Daniel 7, the Son of Man going to come and take over the kingdom, and the kingdom going to be given to who? The saints. That's right. See how crystal clear this is? Yes, sir. Go ahead.
For he is Lord of lords.
Of course.
And King of kings. And they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful.
That's where we want to be, right there with him. Go ahead. What else?
15. And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the poor sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues.
See, all these people who the Roman Empire been ruling over, and through the Roman church. But now, go to Daniel, the 8th chapter, back to Daniel. We're almost done now. So we just brought it all the way from Daniel, where he told you about the fourth beast, the fourth one is Rome. We done brought it all the way down to our time, even to the second coming of Jesus. And of course, if Jesus is going to take over the kingdoms of this world, he's going to have to knock them off. Daniel 8 and verse 23. We're going to go back to Revelation one more time, and that'll be it. Daniel 8 and 23. Go ahead.
And in the latter time of their kingdom, when the transgressors are come to the full, a king of fierce countenance and understanding dark senses shall stand up.
See, because it's going to be two leaders. It's going to be a military man and it's going to be a religious man. So here's the religious man. He's a king, though. A king of fierce countenance, understanding dark senses. He knows some dirty stuff, some hidden stuff. Go ahead.
24. And his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power. And he shall destroy wonderfully.
And he destroying wonderfully, he say.
And shall prosper in practice, and shall destroy the mighty and the holy people.
That show you he don't care about the holy people. He don't care about you being holy. He want to rule, and if you messing up his rule, he gonna destroy you. Go ahead.
25. And through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand.
He gonna be doing witchcraft. This at the end of time, brothers and sisters. Go ahead.
And he shall magnify himself in his heart. And by peace shall destroy many.
That show you he's a religious man because he's using peace as his calling card. Go ahead.
He shall also stand up against the prince of princes.
Oh, he gonna stand up against Jesus, the prince of princes. That's who he is. Go ahead.
But he shall be broken without hand.
And the Lord goes. All he got to do is say the word, and the Lord going to break them. Now go to 2 Thessalonians 2, and we're going to see the same thing here. Once you know how this thing ends, you don't believe none of the lies that they told you about going to heaven and in a rapture, because the Lord coming to take over. 2 Thessalonians 2. 2 Thessalonians 2 and verse 1. Go ahead and read it. Paul even summed it up. Go ahead.
Now we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ, and by our gathering together unto him, that ye be not soon shaken in mind, or be troubled, neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letter as from us, as at the day of Christ is at hand.
Don't let nobody trip you up about Jesus coming back before he's supposed to come. Go ahead.
Let no man deceive you by any means.
See, the Bible was full of warnings like that because there's much deception going on in the world. Don't let nobody deceive you by no means. Go ahead.
For that day shall not come.
The second coming of Jesus can't come tomorrow, next week, next year. It can't come until this stuff happens. Go ahead.
Except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition.
See, we see him, but most people don't see the man of sin, the son of perdition. He is operating on behalf of this beast, this kingdom. He's one of the two leaders of this kingdom. And they working together. Go ahead.
4.
How you gonna recognize him though? Go ahead.
Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or what is worshipped, so that he is God, so he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God.
See, that's how it's gonna end. That's the abomination of desolation standing in the holy place though. The man gonna move from Rome to Jerusalem. That's when you know it's over with now. That's when tribulation gonna start. That's when we gonna be running. He gonna move from Rome to Jerusalem, and you can see the stage being set now because they ain't gonna never get no peace over there. So he gonna eventually take it over, and when he do that, that's gonna be like a slap in God's face, and he gonna sit in God's area where God had his temple at, and that's gonna be the end of him. Lord gonna let him do his dirt for 3.5 years. That's when he gonna be killing saints. But now, verse 5.
Remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things? And now ye know what withhold that he might be revealed in his time.
In his time, it got to happen. Paul knew about it. He knew it had to come. So he telling people, look, Lord can't come till all this stuff unfold.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
7. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who now letteth will let, until he be taken out of the way. See,
Paul didn't know how long it was going to be. You know why? Because in Paul's day, the Roman Empire was ruling. So he didn't know. He thought, some points, he thought it was going to be in his day. Even the disciples thought it might happen before they died. Because the Roman Empire was ruling them. They didn't know it was going to be thousands of years later. Now it's about to happen. But we see Rome has made it from way back that time down to our time, and they putting the pieces of the Roman Empire back together. That's the key. That's how they still rule. And they've been ruling all along, controlling you through religion. Got you brainwashed, believing lies, and therefore you worshiping them. Go ahead.
8. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming.
See, this is the bottom line. It always ends with Jesus meeting the man. That's how it ends, because the Lord, the Son of Man, got to come take over from this fourth world ruling empire. So he got to knock the lead off. That's how you take over. You knock the lead off. He said, then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. So how we think Jesus coming to do anything else but this, when it's crystal clear? He coming to take over this world, brothers and sisters. He coming to take over from Rome, which is still ruling. Now let's go to Revelation 13. And we got 2 more after this. Revelation 13. And we're going to start at verse 3. So this is how Rome ruled. Rome did not die and go away as a kingdom. They did lose power. The emperor fell off the throne, but Rome was slick enough to have religion to keep them as a force to be reckoned with, to keep them with some power. And therefore Rome has power over the whole world through religion. Because Rome got the woman got members all over the world. They don't have to be in Rome. Got members all over. So if he said, look, come in, we're going to all meet here, hey, he can get some people to come follow him. That's why on that picture that we showed, look at all those people out there to see him. Thrones of people. That's why I used to say, I wonder who left him in charge. 13:3. But he's saying Jesus did, but I know better. He got a little scripture he'd go to too. That's a whole nother lesson. He got a scripture he go through in Matthew 16, say that's how he got his power. But that's so easy to disprove. He used Peter and all that stuff. But what we say, Revelation 13:3. Revelation 13:3. Go ahead.
And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death.
That Roman head was wounded to death, but this is what's about to happen through the Euro and through them combining their armies to operate as one empire. It's about to be healed. Go ahead.
And his deadly wound was healed. And all the world wondered after the beast.
Wondered after the kingdom. That's what it is. It's that same fourth kingdom. Go ahead. That dreadful. This is why this beast was not a lion. It was not a bear. It was not a leopard with 4 heads. It was something you can't even describe. You can't even describe the way they did work this system. He just called it dreadful and terrible. This is that beast. Refuse to die. I ain't going nowhere. That's why the only way this beast gonna be dead, the Lord gonna come and have to put him to death. Go ahead.
4. And they worshiped the dragon.
So ultimately you worshiping Satan. Go ahead.
Which gave power unto the beast.
Because that's who they getting their power from. Satan is the one know how to work it like this. Go ahead.
And they worshiped the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him?
That lets you know we talking the kingdom. We know we ain't talking no animals by now, right? We talking about a military kingdom with a military. And they gonna put their nation together. Just like France. If you was an all-out war, France against America, which is one of these nations, America can beat France. America can beat Germany. America can beat Italy. But you put Germany, France, Italy, and 7 other nations together, America got to fight now. And that's what they doing. They know what it takes to compete in this world. Just like they can't compete. Germany couldn't compete with America economically just with their little currency. But now they can put the currencies together. Now they can compete. The euro can compete. Even though the dollar been trying to keep it at bay, it's just a matter of time because we know the Bible. What verse you at?
5. And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things.
See, this kingdom, the leadership, go ahead.
And great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months.
That's that times and a half we've been talking about. Go ahead.
6. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle and them that dwell in heaven.
So he don't like God at all. Go ahead.
And it was given unto him to make war with the saints.
Don't like the saints. Go ahead.
And to overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations.
See, when they tell you it's a rapture, they show you they don't know nothing about it. Because this man making war with the saints and overcoming. The only way to get away is to run. Yeah, you're going to have to be quick to get away. Go ahead.
8. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world.
So we know this is an empire, this is a kingdom, but the spin on this kingdom now is it's using religion. That's why I keep talking about worship. Even though the emperors, you know, they wanted some worship too back in the day, but this is full-fledged now. It's all embedded in false worship.
Yes, sir.
They already got it fixed in. They made it out of religion. But now, we're going to skip over to save a few minutes to verse 11. Go ahead.
And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth.
Wait a minute. Now we got another beast. This is what I'm saying. We have 4 beasts in Daniel, brothers and sisters. They taking us to the end of the world. The 4th one is going to be around when the Lord comes. So we don't have no more kingdom. So when we see this beast come up in Revelation 13, we had to figure out, well, what is this beast? Hey, this is a regrouping, a reviving of the 4th beast in Daniel. This is the dreadful and terrible beast that's coming back to power. Now he's telling you about another beast. He's showing you another aspect of this 4th beast. That's all. Ain't another kingdom nowhere. Go ahead.
And he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon.
Now this beast, it said got 2 horns like a lamb, and spake as a dragon. So what it is, he's showing you. The horns usually represent kings. Only thing he's doing, brothers and sisters, by this, and the next verse gonna tell you, I'm gonna tell you in advance. He's showing you the leadership structure of that revived Roman Empire. Because it's unique, it's not the same. It's like we read in the history, the Pope, they inaugurated under Otto the Great, the principle of one Pope, one Emperor. It ain't just an emperor no more, is it? It's a two-headed beast, it's a two-headed system leading the kingdom. So that's why, so this beast is not another kingdom, it's just showing you the leadership of the first kingdom. It's just showing you the power structure. That's all. Beheld another beast coming out of the earth, and it had two horns like a lamb. So the two horns is the military man and the religious man. That's the two horns. Both of them king. I told you the Pope nothing but a king. He used religion as his calling card, but he a king and he politicking like kings do. Better than them, really. Because he ain't even got no arm. He used their arm. Why don't you go knock him off? He talking crazy. They don't like us over there. Go. That's what he did. That's how he got all this power. Get deals from him. Some of them didn't even like him. They like, look, man, just take this and get out my face. So he had two horns like a lamb. That means they using, looking like the Lord, trying to look religious, trying to look holy, like a lamb. But the words is from Satan. See, somebody can look like they got sheep's clothing on, but when you pay attention to the words, hey, they speaking like a dragon, or they in sheep's clothing. Inwardly they raving in wolves. Go ahead, verse 12. But let's see what this beast doing that come out of the earth. Go ahead.
And he exercises all the power of the first beast before him.
Oh, so this is the power of the first beast, these two horns. That's all it is. Go ahead.
And causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed.
See, this is not another kingdom. This is the power structure of the kingdom that's coming back to life. That's what it is. Go ahead a little further. 13.
And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men.
That's their witchcraft. The religious leader gonna have. He gonna do that. And that's really gonna make people flock to it. They gonna be like, oh, we know this is the Holy Father. And you know that's something in itself that they call him Holy Father. Who would do that? Somebody ain't been reading the Bible. Oh, when the Lord said, don't call no man your father in that sense, in the religious sense, let alone Holy Father. Jesus said, you got a father, that one is in heaven. Pray, our Father which art in heaven. How you gonna call this man Holy Father? Somebody mixed up. So he gonna have power, and they really gonna flock to him. He gonna be able to make fire come down. What else? Verse 14.
And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast.
See, he tricking them. He deceiving people with the miracles. Because people want a miracle, they'll take a miracle over the truth. They will take that. They don't care. You can be preaching the truth. They be like, well, can you do me some tricks? Yeah, you know, I'm going over here. He can do some tricks. He got some magic. Yeah, people want a sign, just like it's crazy. The Lord said, don't make no graven images, don't make no idols, and bow down to them. But yet they got them everywhere, which is wrong. People bow down to them. Then let alone, they let a miracle happen. They say, well, one of them is bleeding. Isn't that something? The Mother Mary statue is bleeding in Bosnia. We got to go see it. They want to see some craziness. They was in Chicago. They had a construction water stain on the wall, and it's shaped, it looked like an image of Mary. They was out there on the expressway standing in line to do this. And even the Pope, not the Pope, the bishop in Chicago, he died now. I think his name was George. They had him on the news. They said, what you think? Is that, you know, he was the cardinal. They said, what you think? They had him on the, what you think? Is that guy? He laughed. He said, no, it's not. But if it make them pray, it's okay. But he had to admit, because they had him on the camera, he didn't want to look too stupid, so he said, no, it's not. It was a water stain. They say it was a construction water stain, but them people was out there. Just like somewhere else, they had some ice, you know, when it get cold where we at, it'd be ice form, making all kind of shape. They had some ice. They come out there thinking the ice is Mary, putting beads on the ice. Standing up there, standing in line, waiting to greet it. That's what I'm saying. This is what people want. So, and this is what he gonna give them. Notice, he deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast. Saying what?
Saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast.
See, they go to them images. Go ahead.
Which had the wound by a sword and did live. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast.
And he gonna give life unto the image of the beast. So this gonna be a real miracle. It ain't gonna be no fake stuff like saying you might have thought, seen it move, or it was crying. He gonna make this statue come to life, so they gonna know this guy's God. But he not. He working for the devil. Go ahead.
That the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed.
And that's where the mark of the beast come in. We ain't gonna deal with that right now. Go to Revelation 19, because we're showing you the climax of this fourth beast. He gotta come back in full power, put a hurting on the world, and then Jesus gotta knock him off. And he gonna knock off a two-headed system. 19 and 11. This Jesus coming back here. But notice who he gonna fight, like we done seen repeatedly. In Daniel 8, it said the man doing the miracles gonna stand up against the prince of princes, gonna be broken without hand. In 2 Thessalonians 2, Paul said the man gonna move to the temple and he gonna be there, and the Lord gonna destroy him when he come back with the brightness of his coming, with the spirit of his mouth and the brightness of his coming. Now we read early in Revelation 17, it said the 10 horns who working for the man are 10 kings, they gonna give their armies to the man. It said these shall stand up against the Lamb, and the Lamb shall over. It always ended in a fight, and we got Jesus, the false teachers got Jesus just stealing us to heaven. Like Jesus scared to fight. But the Bible got Jesus fighting, taking over the world. Which one you gonna believe in? But go ahead, verse 11.
And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse. And he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True.
Now this is the Lord, and what is he doing?
And in righteousness he doth judge and make war.
See, the Lord's not no punk. He ain't got to take nobody to heaven. The Lord said, look, I'm running this. I just been letting y'all do y'all thing. Time is up. Give it up. And he ain't even going to knock him out right away. He going to give him a chance like he did Pharaoh. He basically going to say, look, give up or I'm going to hurt you. Give up. And they not going to give up, and he going to hurt them. This is what he said. He coming and in righteousness. See, he righteous, but he coming to judge and make war. Now let's see if he got some opposers from this fourth Roman Empire, this fourth beast, the Roman Empire. Verse 19, go ahead.
And I saw the beast, and the kings of the earth, and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse, and against his army.
This is all our wars. Because this is how the Lord is going to take over the world from this fourth empire. Told you Rome got to be ruling, because that's the one the Lord got to knock off. The fourth one from Daniel, the 7th chapter. So notice, he said, we still saw the beast. We already know beast is kingdom. And the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse and against his army. They fighting Jesus. And we know who gonna win. Verse 20.
And the beast was taken.
Now, the beast in this case, the beast referred to the revived Roman Empire in most cases. But also the beast is the individual emperor leader in some instances. Like we saw, it was a two-headed system. One pope, one emperor. So it referred to the man that's ruling alongside the religious leaders. So you got a religious man, and we're going to call him a false prophet, because that's what the Bible calls him. And you got an emperor man, which he called also a beast himself. So now it's talking about the man here that's ruling the empire. And he said, and the beast was taken, and who else?
And with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him.
The two-headed system, right? What's going to happen to him?
With which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast.
See, he tricked a lot of people to take that mark, but now the Lord going to trick him. Go ahead.
And them that worshipped his image.
What happened to these two men?
These both were cast alive into a lake of fire burning with brimstone.
These two men, because this is a two-headed system when Rome come back, brother and sister. These two. But we saw it started when the Pope was manipulating to get his power. And they called it one Pope and one Emperor. That's where it all started at.
Right.
But now go to verse 21.
And the remnant were slain with the sword of him that sat upon the horse.
He gonna kill everybody else naturally because he put them two men in hell fire, lake of fire immediately. Go ahead.
Which sword proceeded out of his mouth, and all the fowls were filled with their flesh.
One more spot, Revelation 20. Because I want to show you this how it ends. It really told us this in Daniel 7. He said, look, I considered the horns and the beast till his body was given to the burning flame.
Yep.
That was showing you that way back in Daniel 7. When the Son of Man had to come and take this thing over. Revelation 20 and verse 1. And we're going to see that they're going to be there for the duration once they hit that fire. 20 and 1. Go ahead.
And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years.
So he's going to bound Satan. Satan not going to the fire. Notice at verse in the 19th chapter that the beast and the false prophet went into the lake of fire. That's what verse 20 said. The beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought the miracles before him, which he deceived them and had received the mark of the beast, and then the works was theirs. These both were cast alive into a lake of fire burning with brimstone. So God not going to put them to death, wake them up, burn them in hell. God going to keep them alive, put a little change on their body where they got a spiritual body, put them in hell, alive, and they're going to be there forever. See, some people have watered hell down, lake of fire. Oh, you just going to burn up. Look, I'm going to tell you, as bad as I was, if I thought it was just going to be a quick punishment, I might have kept being bad. But the Lord let me know this is going to be burning forever. I don't want to deal with that. I can't stand a little fire for a few minutes, let alone forever. Them people couldn't stand natural fire in the World Trade Center. Can you imagine being somewhere and you're going to jump 100 stories to get away from some fire? And now you in a lake of it and can't jump out? That's the only thing made me change. But when they water it down and act like it's not that much, then people don't have no fear of God. And that's really what you need. That'll help you get your act straight when you realize how dangerous that God is not playing. He put these men in the fire forever. Now we're going to see if they just burn up because they got put in there. Now we see Satan going in the pit. He's just going to be locked up. He ain't going to the fire yet. Verse 3.
And cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more till 1,000 years should be fulfilled. And after that, he must be loosed a little season.
See, it's going to be 1,000 years of peace. The Lord going to be reigning on this earth. We're going to have peace and prosperity. It's going to be a glorious time for the people that's living then. Once Jesus come back. But now, the devil got to get out. I'm going to throw these verses in. Well, verse 7 to tell you that. Go ahead.
And when 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison.
Well, let's just keep reading it on through the 10. Go ahead.
And shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth.
Now this is 1,000 years after Jesus back. Jesus been ruling, nothing but peace. But when Satan get out, he gonna mess him up. So this over 1,000 years after us. That lets you know this thing is all about the earth, and the Lord gonna be running this thing permanently. And it's going to be men here, flesh and blood, babies born, but they're going to be born into a whole different world than one we was born into. We born into a hellish world. They're going to be born into a heaven on earth world. Why do you think Jesus told us to pray, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven? Go ahead, finish it.
Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea.
And so they going to stir it, Satan going to stir it up one more time. In the meanwhile, 1,000 years ago, them two men that was perpetrating all this fraud, doing great tribulation from the Roman Empire, they got thrown in the fire. Guess where they at while this is going on? Still in the fire. They ain't went nowhere. They beat Satan. That happens a lot. the leader of the criminal activity go to jail last. People under him go to jail, then he finally go. So some of Satan's honchos gonna go first, but now he on his way. Go ahead.
9. And they went up on the breadth of the earth, and compassed the camp of the saints about, and the beloved city. And fire came down from God out of heaven and devoured them.
Now the Lord gonna end that right quick. Now he done with the devil, verse 10.
And the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are.
Oh, wait, they still there, huh? It didn't say where they used to be. Where the beast and the false prophet are. This 1,000 years later. But the Lord is so mad at these people for giving people the mark of the beast. Because if you take the mark of the beast, you're going to hell. You're going to be in there with them. See, they knew what they was doing. So the Lord going to end them immediately. And they going to be there. But now Satan is gone. But that shows you how important understanding this system of Rome, how it's coming back into power, and the leadership is going to put a hurting on the world until the Lord come back and take it over. Now he finally put the devil where they at. The devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast, that military man, and the false prophet, that's the Pope, are, and what?
And shall be tormented day and night forever and ever.
And I hope you got some understanding, Jesus. We're going to have some regular announcements.
We welcome you and